The horses are now nearing the starting gate. And they're off. As the field comes into the stretch. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Aqueduct on a beautiful Saturday. The temperature will reach 70 degrees later today. The main track is fast, the turf courses are firm, and there are no portable rails in use today on the grass. We'll be coming back a little bit later to go over the scratches and the changes. Once again, we are fast and firm here at the Big A. Today's first race post is at 10:30 a.m. Today, of course, is a championship Saturday for the Breeders' Cup at Keeneland. And we've got 10 live races here at Aqueduct. So again, we'll be back a little later. Coming up next, the Championship Saturday edition of Talking Horses with Andy Serling and Anthony Stabile.
Good morning, and by the
Hi,
way,
everyone.
it's really the morning. He's Anthony Stabile, I'm Andy Serling. Welcome to Talking Horses on Breeders' Cup Saturday.
You woke me.
Believe me, dude, I could easily still be sleeping.
I don't sleep anymore. I woke up at 5:21 today.
5:21.
Yeah, I looked at the clock.
That reminds me of many years ago, before digital clocks were everywhere and people actually used real watches, when I was
I don't know
much younger and
digital watch or
dinosaurs were
clock.
roaming the earth. My mother looked at me one morning and said to me, "What time did you get home last night?" And I said, "I don't know, it was pretty late." She goes, 4:22.
I do not have a digital watch or clock. I have all old school.
You have a phone.
Yeah, but
Doesn't everybody use their phone for time?
I mean, I
think we
guess.
talk about more important things, like the weather or whatever.
Weather's
Anyway,
pretty good day, huh?
Quickly, best Breeders' Cup performance yesterday.
Wow.
Well, I thought they were all pretty good. I mean, I thought they were all. I was thinking about
Can I
this.
say Jackie's Warrior?
He ran very, very well. Yeah.
I would probably say Aunt Pearl. I thought Aunt Pearl was pretty impressive yesterday.
So was Strike.
Right.
So was Fire.
Florent Giroux does a really good job riding speed horses. Just getting her to go
Especially
fast
ones
early.
that are better than the field.
Yeah, but he gets the separation that you and I talk about all the time. That guys and gals don't use speed. He opened a 3.5 length lead. She went 22 and 4 on 3, and then she went 25.
Nah, I don't buy that.
You don't buy it? You don't buy it?
Nah, those fractions didn't make sense to me.
I thought he backed it down.
Yeah, but if he backed it down, the field would have scrunched a little bit. The field didn't scrunch
Perhaps.
at all. There's no way they
Okay.
went 25 and the field didn't scrunch. You've watched enough races.
Well, he still
to know
did a
it's
good
not
job.
true.
He just let her roll. He doesn't get in her way, and that's it.
Yeah, you know-
Two lope to Vegas now in the last 3 years, won that race. Yeah. Same fashion, wire to wire.
It's interesting that, of course, I got the usual nitwits on Twitter that think every horse that wins the race is automatically the best horse. I don't think anyone will believe that Jackie's Warrior is going to win the Kentucky Derby, and nobody's suggesting it. And I think Steve Asmussen and the connections probably realized at this time it's more likely to be a Woody Stevens, Alan Jerkins type
Nothing
horse.
wrong with those.
Having said that, to not realize how well he ran, given the pace and the circumstances,
Preposterous.
and to have only lost by 3 lengths, he ran tremendously. And that's not a knock on essential
Right,
quality. He
that's
ran
the
well,
problem, right?
but he got a very good setup. And
He got
Jackie's
a good
Warrior
setup.
got a crazy setup and still ran well to be fourth.
And you're allowed to say they both ran well. Like, you don't have to pick a side here. They both did run well. Listen, essential quality came from a little further back than he really has. I mean, last time he was right up on top of the pace, but he's been adaptable now in all 3 of his starts. Is he a nice horse? Yes. Is the other horse a nice horse? I mean, if you want horse flesh, I'll take Jackie's Warrior right now as far as horses going forward that are going to win. Now, maybe he's not going to win at 1 1/8 and 1 1/4, but I'll tell you what, it's the kind of horse in the hands of a guy who, based on Matoli and what you've seen this year from Yopon and Nashville, I don't mind having
And
a good
Balo.
sprinter in Steve Asmussen's hands.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. Of course, the highest Beyer speed figure given out all day yesterday was given out to the first winner, Highly Motivated.
Nice effort.
Got a 96 Beyer, 95 for the juvenile, I think 93 for Vequist, and those 2-year-old fillies continue to show that they're more than they're a far better than average group. And I think the other
question.
thing that comes out of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, if people actually want to listen, is the figs don't lie. And
Juvenile
all
fillies.
that nonsense about Princess Noor can go faster, this and that. She passed the eye test. She was visually impressive. She was the 6th fastest horse in that race. And you know what?
She ran 5th.
She ran like the 5th or 6th fastest
If she were to
horse.
script, if you were to script the trip for Princess Noor yesterday, you could not have scripted a better trip.
Well, I mean, I guess she could have the trip the winner had. Wouldn't have mattered.
Wouldn't
She
have
had no
mattered?
horse. No, she had no
She's
horse.
sitting second to the speed.
She had no horse. I wouldn't go on and on about the trip. I just think she's just not very good. And I know
Well, I'm
that
saying that she had no excuse.
it's not
Her
an
excuse is
East
she's
Coast,
not that
West
good.
Coast thing. It's reality. Speed figures matter. They can't go faster. It's all a bunch of hooey. The reality is the fastest horses win races. There's a reason people look at speed figures, that over time the fastest horses win races. She's just not that good. And you know what it is? There were years in the Breeders' Cup where she might have been good enough. This was not one of them.
This was not one. There were 2 or 3 really. I mean, you had
Before.
Simply Ravishing, who didn't get off particularly well. May have been best.
Well, no, I'm going to disagree with that. She never figured to be prominent. she had been involved in very slow paces. This is something that I talked about extensively, that she never figured to be forward
But I
there.
do think I don't think the break helped her. I don't think she got away from there particularly well.
She's a little bit slow. I mean, I think a lot of people mistake horses that are a little slow for getting left.
Joel Rosario, that was another good ride. In
Joel
big
left
spot
for position.
Yeah, left for position, held his position, and made the move up the rail.
Now on to the first race here at Aqueduct. We've got 10 today. We start at 10:30. We end as soon as the sun peaks over the horizon around 4:30.
4:21.
Okay, close, right?
Yeah. Oh, listen, believe me.
Race number one.
Somebody who calls races here, you keep an eye on sunset and you keep an eye on where the
thank
sun
you,
goes.
Francisco. Francisco's really hitting his stride here. If you're not a member of NYRA head on over to NYRABets.com. Use promo code CUP25 and get a free $25 bet as well as a $200, or we will match up to $200 initial deposit. Also let you know on I think this is a late pick 4 at Keeneland and Aqueduct today. $150 bonus if you hit both of these through NYRA Bets. Good luck with that.
I'm taking a swing.
To everybody, I'm sure you are. Race number 1. Start out by taking a look at Unrelenting Force's last race, and I thought, listen, he ran extremely well last time, and I think if he continues this performance, he's going to be good. Now, he was on the rail, and the rail was the place to be, but I think we've continued to see at Aqueduct a sort of carryover from last year, and we'll talk about the turf in a little bit, but what we're seeing is a course that the times haven't been particularly quick, and I think the kickback's been a little bit strong, and unless horses are making clean runs on the outside, we're not seeing a lot of horses running through the kickback and running and closing, so it's helping forwardly placed horses, and I don't think there's any doubt that Unrelenting Force is going to be forward. The question is, where did that race come from? Was it just the bias? Is he improved? Do you trust to run it forward? I think he's going to run well, but I didn't want to put him on top. I think you've gone into voodoo territory in this race, but okay.
20 points higher than anything he's ever run. I think that's, it's very hard. Now, well, in 6% came back to win.
And he ran well yesterday.
Yep, yesterday. So, I went the Titans will. Second off the claim for Orlando Nota. I don't think this horse
No, wait a second. He's not second off the claim.
Second off the layoff for Orlando Nota. I don't think this horse really wants to sprint. I think this horse was,
Anthony, you're picking the horse because you're picking
all the
Nota.
I'm picking the horse because I thought he was given a race last time. He's 2 for 2 with the mile. Does he need to get faster? He absolutely does. But I'm going to find out at 10 or 12 to 1 because even if people are betting the barn, there are other places to go here where the money has to. He has to be.
Well, he has absolutely no chance on paper. Okay. Zero. Even Nota and his ridiculous improvements of horses, and it's becoming sort of amazing.
But don't you feel like I know he has to get faster, but he also ran this horse. Hold on, he ran this horse earlier in the year.
Princess Nor would drown him.
He ran this horse 2 times earlier in the year at a mile. He was 2 for 2.
He got a 70 buyer and a 62 buyer.
He needs to get faster, but he's also almost a year older now. He's 9
but
months
he showed
older
absolutely nothing in his return race. So you can say
because I don't want him sprinting. I don't want this horse sprinting.
But he got a 54 buyer.
I understand that.
Okay.
I don't want him sprinting.
I'm not going to argue about a 100 to 1 shot that has no chance on paper. If you're going to pick the Nota horses, I wish you the best of luck. When I lose to this horse, I'm sure I'll hear the Nota screaming, whether I'm in Connecticut, California, or the moon. It doesn't matter where you are. You always hear them yelling. Act like you've been there before, guys. Grit and Glory and Striking Speed coming out of the same race, and they're probably coming out of the best race. Well, I shouldn't say it. Unrelenting Force coming out of a tough race. Looking at this race, I will say that Striking Speed, he had a chance here, but he just didn't have the acceleration, and the seam ends up closing when he doesn't really have the acceleration that works out against him. I'm sorry, he actually had the good trip. It was Grit and Glory that had a little bit of trouble finding the seam, and he came through. Listen, Kumar ran sensationally here the other day, didn't even break, and then he ran against the field. I thought Grit and Glory ran well for Linda Rice, and I just think this is a super logical horse in here.
Yeah, listen, I left them all open. I wanted the horses that were going to be bigger prices.
Well, what do you like about the 6, Cobble Hill? Think he wants a mile too?
Well, I don't think he's going to mind the stretch out. He gets a pair of blinkers for Rudy.
Rudy love this horse or something?
No, I don't think he's going to mind the. I don't think he's going to mind the stretch out. I don't like the last race. I will say that. Don't like the last race, but he
not
has
lifting
races,
a hoof is a heavy favorite.
He has races 3 and 4 back that fit with these. I think he's going to have to answer the question. But again, in a race that I have wide open, I want the horses that are going to be prices.
Okay, I feel as though we looked at 2 different races. Best of luck in the first race. Race number 2 at 6 runs of turf. I have to talk about the turf course.
Okay.
It benefits people, and if you don't believe me, just watch the replays of every single turf race we ran on both courses yesterday. We saw as much as we saw during the opening 10 days, the 7 racing days last year, actually 8, because they ran through Veterans Day on Monday the 11th, we saw as strong a gold inside on both courses last year as I've ever seen until yesterday. It's almost as though if you weren't on the rail for at least half to 2/3 of the race, you had no chance. Think of that heavy favorite of George Weaver's. That horse couldn't get out of first gear, and he was only 2 wide. Look at the race he was in, a 58-to-1 shot. Held on for second, racing on the rail. The winner on the rail until the 3/16 to 8th ball, and wins the race. Every single horse all day long. That Clement first time started at 1. Kendrick was on the rail until he angled out coming into the stretch.
Yep.
The second horse on the rail. The third horse at 44-to-1 got over the rail. Look at the last race. The horse that Trevor McCarthy was on. Okay, Trevor's in perfect position on the inside. He makes the right move. In other words, angling the outside is the right move on a normal racetrack, on a turf race. Instead, he gets on the rail, and suddenly the horse is spinning his wheels. And what happens? Rudy's horse comes up the rail at 14-to-1. All day long, horses chasing outside had no chance. So we're going to get a situation in this turf course, and it's unlikely to change until we leave the turf course, until we move the rails out after next weekend. If you're not on the rail, you have no chance. Now, you look at me and say, well, this idiot picked the 12 horse, and I understand. I'm an idiot. Now, I left the horse on top because the horse is going to be a huge price.
Huge price.
So, and I will say something, Farron Peterson very quickly picked up on that with a horse you liked, that ran third, but she gave that horse every chance. And that horse
never had a one on her card.
Right, if that horse had been ridden by a lot of riders, that horse would have been 10th early and never gotten a sniff in there, but she gave the horse a chance. Now, I don't know how Excited Feeling is possibly going to do it, and I don't know. All I know about Excited Feeling, and I want to show the beginning of Excited Feeling's first race. This is the first race it ran in the 1 sprint. This horse had legitimate trouble in this race. I'm sorry, this is the oh yeah, I'm going to show the start. I'm sorry, guys. And then I'm going to show the end. The horse gets completely left, and he's back to last. And this horse just loses touch, okay? Watch this horse in the stretch with Luis Saez, because he actually has horse in here, and he just has absolutely nowhere to go. Watch him in here. And I'm not saying he's that good, but who are the killers in this field?
No.
Luis tries to get out here. He gets shut off when the number 2 comes over. So now he's got to go back. He gets completely stopped. Completely stopped trying to rally. And then he regathers himself, and he still keeps on coming. This was not a good race. I don't disagree. He's not in a good race today. If he drew the rail, I would make a huge bet on this horse. I really think he's interesting. I don't think he's going to win from post well, but I'm not going to not put him on top at a big price.
But keep moving forward is the thing you got to have to like the most about that, because he kept getting stymied from the start, and he just kept moving forward, which that's what you want to see, especially in a horse's debut. They tried him long. Next time, yeah, I mean, I left him open. There's a half a dozen horses I think that can win this race. I thought this was
the horse to beat is clearly Bonus Baby, and if Eric Cancel is not aggressive from the rail and doesn't hold that rail position, he's not paying attention. He's not the speed, though. The speed is probably Dream Chasing, and Kendrick, who made a mistake. Now, to be fair to Kendrick, it was early in the day and he didn't realize the track was playing, but he made a mistake with that 12 horse in yesterday's second race, not persevering and not going forward. There's a Kendrick Carmouche that would never allow to have happen what happened in that race. He would have kept going. Now, he didn't know what he knows now. He's going to go with the 9, and the 9's going to be dangerous in this race. The 9, 11 are the speeds, but isn't Dream Chasing going to clear and be very tough?
Supposed to.
I got him 4th, but I think
I do too. And
I'm not a fan of this horse. He's got very little ability, but what he has is the potential to be in front.
If Bonus Baby's race 2 back is real,
well,
and Eric's a little aggressive, I mean...
No, he's not faster than Dream Chasing.
No. I'm just saying, hold position and ride that rail. I mean, this was really tough today.
Well, his 74 is as real as the 67 on Dream Chasing.
Right, that's the
it's
problem.
It's 10 points high. It's the
last
turf
time
factor.
this horse broke through the gate before the race, then that was it. That was, as is
so
the
why
case
running on
horses.
entry, who I do have in the mix?
Yeah, I just, cut back. This horse, I thought her races as a 3-year-old last year sprinting were better than her distance races. The blinkers come off. She didn't have blinkers the first 2 starts. The blinkers come back off.
Maybe she's just not.
I agree.
Not
very good.
Listen, I have her the same thinking as you. I agree. She couldn't have gotten a better ride from Kendrick in her last turf race, 2 races back. Kendrick rode her absolutely perfectly. I bet her, and she had nothing.
No, I know.
She just came out.
Maybe she just doesn't want to go that far.
Maybe, but she doesn't have the right running style for this course. That's the problem with her a little bit. But I agree. Feels like one, I had to leave at 12. I don't know, the horse is going to win. But the good news is we'll get a chance to bet a lot of horses back off of impossible trips, and we saw quite a few on yesterday's cards. Pay attention to these turf races. Race number 3, we'll take a look at the Lady's Secret from Monmouth. At least they haven't changed the name to Zenyatta. And this is not a knock on Zenyatta, but to change the Lady's Secret to Zenyatta was a crime. And find a race for Zenyatta. I got no problem with that, but not the Lady's Secret. Anyhow. So why is Royal Flag going to be Nona Madeline today, who's completely loose? Wasn't she supposed to be here last time?
I guess.
I know you got the loyalty to Chad, and it's really touching, but why is she supposed to beat her today? Royal Flag had every chance to beat her last time, and Nona Madeline is now loose today.
I don't think Nona Madeline's loose. I think Rachel Princess is going to go to the lead.
So you weren't really texting last night because you were hitting the bong hard or something?
I think Rachel Princess is going to go to the lead.
Okay. She's not, but okay. Do you think that Todd Pletcher's other horse is going to take the lead from Nona Madeline? His horse was absolutely no chance in here. You think she's
Well, she had a target last time, Nona Madeline, and she won. I think that's what they're going to do.
You don't think that Graceful Princess might have been running in here to make sure this race went, right? You don't think that's possible?
I do.
Okay, but you think she's still going to get away with Nona Madeline? Okay. Maybe you're right. Be crazy. But
I think there's a reason Graceful Princess was the one selected to make the race go. I think
she was the only one in the barn.
I think
she was the only one in the barn that could go in the race.
She's going to go and provide a target for Nona Madeline.
Well, that would
That's my opinion.
that would be a very foolish move. So in other words, they're going to help Royal Flag. Todd Pletcher's got 3 in here, and he's going to help Chad Brown win the race. That would be, you know what, Todd? If you do that, you're the most magnanimous man alive. I got to tell you, I bow to you as the kindest, most thoughtful man in the history of horse racing.
I don't understand.
Not only on the maybe he's going to celebrate his 5,000th win by getting Chad one closer to his 5,000.
How do you think it really helps Royal Flag? Do you think they're going to go fast in here? I don't think they're going to go fast in here. I just think she's going to have a target.
Do you think Nona Madeline went fast in Saratoga, 3 back? I think that's one of the best races she ever ran?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We disagree. Okay, it's fine. One of these two horses is going to win the 2 and 3. I prefer Nona Madeline. You like Royal Flag. Take a quick look at your favorite horse, Mrs. Orb. I don't think she's good enough to win these, but I can't resist showing her because she is kind of one of the cool horses racing. Right?
Yeah, I love Mrs. Orb. She's a nice little rags to riches story here. Former claimer, now a New York bred stakes winner. Her last 3 against state breds have been good. Neck, length and 3/4 to another open company runner and Lucky Move, and probably facing tougher now with Royal Flag in here and Nona Madeline. But yeah, I mean, she almost always just shows up. And the good thing about her is she kind of lets you know when it's time for a break. She runs poorly, and she lets you know, all right, guys, I've had enough right now. Send me to the farm for a little while.
Well, wait. Well, when was she going to run? When was she going to run? She ran February 9th in the pandemic.
I do believe that the break was coming regardless of the, yeah. So.
She was 8-1 the day that she didn't run well. Okay. All right. We'll see what happens in race number 3, the Turn Back the Alarm, trained by Red Terrell. She was almost white, wasn't she?
Yeah.
She was a nice horse.
She was a nice horse. Nice filly.
Makes me think of Brian Morgan, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
Turn Back the Alarm.
And David Grace. There were a lot of pictures of him and David Grace.
Really?
With her, yeah.
David worked for Red Terrell? Or they were just friends?
Yeah, it was just everybody worked for Red.
We don't see anybody anymore. I was thinking the other day, I haven't seen David I haven't seen anybody in forever. It's amazing.
I mean, I don't mind not seeing David, but
I'm sure he doesn't mind not seeing either one of us.
Sure he doesn't.
Race number 4.
Just kidding, David.
Race number 4, the reality race number 4, as we look at Ethos and Winter back running 2nd and 4th up in Saratoga. If Louis Cardenas is aggressive and goes and secures the lead, Ethos is going to win. If he doesn't, and Kendrick Carmouche can clear with Winner's back, he's going to win. One of these 2 horses is probably going to win this race. I'm not interested in making a case for anybody else. Ethos has the benefit of drawing inside. It would greatly benefit Louis Cardenas to be aggressive. If he isn't, Winner's back will win the race. If somebody else wins this race, I'm going to lose.
Yeah.
I
tried to split them with Clemenza first time on the turf, but this was before
Kelly Breen. He's your new main man.
Little Kelly Breen at a price, but this was before the conveyor belt of yesterday. So.
Yeah, it does seem like one of those 2 horses is going to win. Well, you did split them.
That's what I said.
What's the big deal with Clemenza regardless? There's no turf pedigree.
The horse ran okay on the dirt first time out.
So why are they riding the horse with a little turf pedigree on the turf after riding the horse on the dirt first time out?
I don't.
Why wouldn't you go back on the dirt after running an 81 buyer.
The barn does well enough that I'm not going to question the move, and maybe there's something that leads them to believe
I would
the horse
question the
is gonna
move.
turf.
It seems like a bad move to me.
Okay.
And I like them too, and I have nothing but nice things to have in the job they do. By the way, he's not 4 to 5.
I just
He's
think
1 to 9.
they,
You're thinking of getting 4 to 5 Morning Lion Natural in the first? You're probably not getting it.
I just think they.
Your loyalty is unwavering. Race number 5 at the
God.
flat mile. We'll take a look at Princess in Charge's last race, and she's going to be, if not the favorite, one of the favorites in here. And I'll tell you something about her. This was a pitiful loss. It was pitiful.
This was stunning.
Pitiful. And the problem with her is she doesn't want a mile.
No. You would think that the mile is a little out of her scope.
Well, I thought the time before that, while the pace was kind of hot, I just didn't think she could get the distance. And she hung badly there.
No, it is first time, Linda.
Well, it was also Rob
I
Atras.
know.
So.
It is first time, Linda.
She's 3 for 17, 180 days off a claim on the dirt. She's 3 for 17. They're not particularly good numbers. I got the horse third because there's very few horses to pick. You look at your horse, Manny Petty, winning 2 back at Saratoga.
And I would imagine Princess in Charge
You're going to get James Bond home, by the way.
is going to be forwardly placed here, right? I mean, you would think that she's going to.
She's supposed to be in front.
Yeah. Maybe that'll help her because, like you said, there's really not so many places to land in here, and these horses don't really want to pass.
Well, look at your horse, Manny Petty.
Yeah. Manny Petty rode a good inside.
She
broke
did.
a maiden.
She did. She got a very good ride.
And she came back. She came back in an impossible spot for her.
Yes, she did.
Obviously, she's off a little bit of a break now, 3 months and 2 months rather. I don't know. Trevor McCarthy climbs aboard. I don't trust Princess in Charge, and I would have to think this filly's not going to be too far off it today. Especially coming out of the last race, I can't imagine she's going to be that far back.
No, how can she be?
Yeah.
There's no speed in this
She's
race.
just
I
got to
don't
be,
disagree.
and I think if you inherit a horse that hasn't been on the track in 10 months, that's staying at the level that she was claimed for, that horse, Princess in Charge, in for the waiver, by the way.
Wouldn't want to lose her.
Yeah. But you put all that money up for 10 months, you don't want to lose them first time.
Yeah,
Because
that's
she's good. Because they'll run her back. If she runs back for 16, she will get
But
claimed.
she's not a pandemic horse.
No.
She's a horse that's been out an awful
Correct.
long time, unless
She had
Linda
2
was
months
waiting for
before the
Aqueduct
pandemic,
with her,
yeah.
but that seems
Yeah.
kind of ridiculous at a certain point.
Yep.
The still problem for me with these Jimmy Bond horses, and I've got this horse second,
That's
I do
fine.
not disagree, is that Jimmy's horses were running great in Saratoga, and they're just not running as well. Now, he ran a lot of conditions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, but still, even the ones that sort of ran the same races are not running as well. They were cranked up at Saratoga. I put a name I won't even ever try to pronounce on top.
Chase and Bryn, they're the owner's grandkids.
Oh, how do I not know that? Do you know their birthdays?
I don't.
How do you not know their birthdays, Anthony? How do you expect to?
You didn't even want to take an attempt at the name.
But you know where it came from and everything, and you don't know the kids' birthdays. Think of the children.
Like the
Once
free-eyed
again,
raven, Andy, I know everything.
as far as this horse, I think there's a possibility this horse was on a rail that maybe he didn't want to be on last time out. But I thought the Saratoga race was fine. I know it was a sloppy sealed track. I don't disagree. I just was looking for somebody else, and frankly, I didn't think this horse would be favored. I know David made her the favorite.
I thought the 2-5.
Maybe she is on the drop down. He's probably right. Either the 2, 5, or 9 had to win here. I didn't think she'd be the shortest price of all of them. Maybe she will be. I don't care.
I think part of me
I don't
put
like
Manny Petty
anybody.
on top so you could harass me about the Jimmy Bond thing. But yeah, I mean, they're the 3 horses that I think can win. And
I think watching those I'm sorry, let me get back to Finger Lakes. Now that I've rethought about it, and I have my notes and read them, the rail was not the place to be at Finger Lakes that day, and this horse spent almost the entire race right down the inside.
okay.
So I think that's the excuse.
I'll be closing the early pick 5 and early pick 4 to 259. I made the biggest price win.
You won't be closing the pick 5 unless you're using horses besides your top 2 in the first. So if I would offer to you, maybe you want to spread in the first. That's the
On
first
that
5.
note-
On that note, let's take a break.
Need help in finalizing your picks for the next race? Check out the Track Master selections provided by Equibase on every U.S. thoroughbred and harness track on Naira Bets. Use these selections to get quick expert advice from professionals in the business. Check out the thumbs up graphic next to the pick in the wager pad and scroll down for more details on the horse. Track Master Selections, available on Naira Bets and the Naira Bets app.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Anthony Stabile, Andy Serling on Breeders' Cup Saturday, race number 6. We will take a look at Summer Brew, and this is actually the debut at Saratoga. This horse also ran second to Party at Pages at Finger Lakes and a stake last time, and feels like the inside speed, and I'm not going to pick the firsters over this horse. Don't know anything about the firsters, but this horse is pretty good. And,
Yeah. I put Chad Brown's firster on top
we'll
and
get to
gained
that
half the
horse in a
Chestertown, but yeah. Party at
Chestertown,
Pages
Chestertown,
came
that
back
known
to
6
win.
furlong speed demon that he was.
Came back
that
to
he is.
win. This one by Uncle Mo. I'm hoping this one has a little bit more athleticism and speed.
It's funny, I
around.
remember this horse sold at the sale at Saratoga the same night that I want to say a Tappet or Medagliadoro, but I think it was Tappet, might have been Medagliadoro, America, was the horse that Bobby
Yeah, I
Clay
remember
had.
that.
And that horse was
The
the
Bobby
talk of the
Clay
sale,
horse?
and it sold for $2 million. And this horse sold for $500,000. And I went downstairs at some point to go to the bar, believe it or not, to have a drink.
You?
And I ran into Chad Brown and Peter Brandt. And I said to Chad, why did that America go for $2 million? They look at her page and saw she was third in all these grade ones, but she finished third in one 5-horse field after another, beating a
suck up
pole.
thirds.
I said it was a great placement by Bill Motton, clearly given how much the horse sold for, but she was a slow plodding type. And Chad goes, that's just what I told Peter. And he's like, and I said, yeah, and we were talking about it, and I said,
She was like the
I said,
slowest horse out of the gate
meanwhile,
I've
the
ever
Artemis
seen.
Agritera, Uncle Mo, goes $500,000, and Peter goes, yeah, I bought her. So there she is, and we'll see. I mean, I hope she's a runner. I just, have the picks, and you've got 6-1, I've got 1-6.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about any of these horses. Did you know a tip on this horse? Is there a story on this
No,
horse?
I don't have anything. I'm just, like you said, Chestertown didn't, did a little bit better when he stretched out. And this one's my Uncle Mo, so I think you see a little
So you're
more,
now not worried about the Monmouth Works anymore.
a little more speed. No, we talked about this already. You going to stop harassing me about the Monmouth Works?
No.
We discussed this like 8 months ago.
Well,
7
we're
months,
very
6 months
stubborn about
ago.
it. What about Destination whatever, who's a half to Verdant Pastures?
Destination Winner's Circle, Andy.
Oh, yeah, how did I not see that?
I mean, that's what it is.
It's a great, good, very good family. Second family, all these families. I always like to leave Charlie Baker in, so
Yeah,
I've
of
got this
course.
horse third.
I got to have my Kelly Breen in there for third.
Oh, God.
Nick Juarez.
Your love for the Kelly Breen barn and John Atfield, I mean, it knows no bounds. I mean, at some
But
point,
what
you're going to
about
get a
Chili?
with
What about-
now Noda
Yeah.
and
I
Rudy
can't
and
wait.
Chad and Kelly Breen. I
What
mean, you're
a-
going to have like 7 top choices.
What about Chili Choose? Chili Choose, Gary Siaka told me this horse could run. She was entered in Saratoga.
Good pick.
She was entered in Saratoga main track only. She had a scratch, she had a little bit of a foot issue. She came back at Belmont, inside draw, showed speed, and tired. Now she gets an outside draw, a couple of nice
What was wrong on
works.
the inside the day she ran?
I don't know if again.
She
I
wasn't
don't know-
on
I
the
don't-
inside,
hold on.
but-
I don't know about. I just said she broke from the rail. I don't know what the track was like that day. She was a 2-year-old first-time starter who broke from the inside and did show some speed. She gets a little post relief in here. I think these horses do better when they're.
So why don't you put her on top?
I thought about putting her on top, but the race was not a very fast race. But
Not
I'm just
bad
saying,
race.
if she has some improvement, I think she can get a piece of this and maybe even pop it $20.
She better be better than $20 if you cash on her. I'll tell you that right
Okay.
now, because she's got to improve
You could also get
immeasurably.
I mean, maybe it's a race you want to play exotics.
Any
In race exotics.
could
Well,
be
I'm always
raced.
playing pick 4s and pick 5s, but maybe you want to play exactas. I think she's an interesting horse to maybe get into the mix.
Okay. Race number 7. Race number 7. I got a question about race number 7.
Sure.
So we have no replays. Why did Empire Express get
Scratch.
scratched out of an off-the-turf race going along to enter into this race at 6 furlongs?
Strange, right? Really weird. Really weird. Never ran the horse short. Horse won a mile and a 16th on the turf, and then a mile on the dirt in his first 2 starts. And now in here, I don't know.
I will say about this horse, I don't like that they're dropping it for a quarter. They are giving this horse away off the long layout
Yep.
because this horse actually ran well in both of his starts. his race in the turf first time. This horse had some trip first time out, and that was when you wanted to be inside, and believe me, he wasn't. And then, last time out, you know who he dealt? Do you know who he dueled with in that race?
I don't remember.
Okay, he finished behind him. This horse finished ahead of the horse he dueled with, Cold Hard Cash. I'm going to read you Cold Hard Cash's Beyer figures. He ran a 70 Beyer. Then he dueled with this horse and he ran a 30 Beyer, finishing behind Empire Express. Then he ran a 71, a 76, an 87, and an 86. That was one of the most wicked pace duels, all things considered. Now, the amazing performance in there was Pave It, who I don't think has run again since that race. And he actually finished second, 100 to 1. Eric Cancel rode him. Because he was sitting third off that duel. He ran some race. But that was a monster pace duel, but I don't like this horse dropping.
So based on that, right, gone 10 months, fresh gelding, don't you give the horse one chance at the special weight? Don't you give the horse one chance for 40?
I would want to run this horse in the turf before I ran him in a claim race because his first race was very, very good.
There you go.
Even if they don't realize how well he ran second time, they ought to know how well he ran first time. So what this probably is, and I've got him on top, and I'm just giving one story after another why I shouldn't have picked him. But the reality is, they're just saying to somebody, please take this horse off my hands. And by the way, somebody should take this horse off their hands. Either, let me put it this way, either he's worth 0 or he's worth a heck of a lot more than 25,000. He may be worth 0. But he may
if
be
you
worth
played
a
a
lot
claiming
more.
game, 25,000 is really not. I mean, it sounds ridiculous to say.
No, you're right. You're right.
But if you played a claiming game, 25,000 is not a lot of money.
Okay, so there must be this monster tip on never hold back.
You know, I picked this horse and I used this horse in the mix last time, and I don't think this horse got a particularly good ride. He was fighting the rider the whole time.
But if you,
I wanted to listen.
That was a wicked pace.
I wanted to take a chance, take a little shot with a horse that's going to be a gigantic price. Farron Peterson had a good summer at Monmouth Park. You know, had a good first day here yesterday.
Okay, she's fine, but what about this horse? She's never run at all.
I'm just, again,
I wanted to bet this horse off the trip last time,
I understand, but this horse ran for 5/8 of a mile and had enough at the 3/8 pole after just getting into a switch and fighting the rider all the time. So I want to take a chance on the horse. Listen, this is not the toughest maiden claiming race this horse is ever going to, you know what I mean?
I don't disagree,
so,
but okay.
I want to take a little swing at a price.
Okay. I mean, River Nile seems sort of logical. Not particularly great stats. George Weaver's okay. Maiden's best way to maiden claimers in the dirties. 7 for $35, $64 ROI. So they're sort of.
Do you have the Brad Cox, which is the racing form numbers, the short numbers? Brad Cox is 31%. With over 70 horse sample size, you feel like it's just with a horse like Empire Express. It's like you said, like just get this horse out of the barn or into the maiden ranks.
But the problem is
out of the
that
maiden ranks.
This horse has run well on both turf and dirt, and I know it's almost the end of the turf season, but he's run well enough on the dirt that he should be able to make the money back on the dirt over the winter, and not even try to get him into a turf race and run in here. There has to be
a little strange.
It's a little bit, and obviously, listen, Ringgold is fast enough to win this race, and nice to see Dave Donk after that horrific Belmont meet get a couple of winners to start out the day.
Yes, it was.
Start
Slept
out
the double yesterday.
Doesn't have to worry about getting shut out at Aqueduct.
Exactly.
He could sleep soundly last night. Race number 8.
I have a feeling Dave just slept just fine.
I'll tell you something about race number 8. The horse that a lot of people are going to like, Magisterium, who I didn't particularly like anyway. I picked third. He could win. We'll show you the race last time, and I have no argument this horse ran fine last time. The problem with it is, how's he going to win this race?
She got some grief now, doesn't she? She's got some grief now. Yeah? No? I don't disagree with you.
Eric, I wish you the best of luck working out a winning trip on this horse.
Yeah. You know, she doesn't have any speed. And I guess the only thing you would hope is that you can rip her to the back of the pack.
Well, there could be some pace in here.
Married to the inside. Right, there's a little pace.
And there never is, but there could be.
There should be, right? Marry yourself to the rail and hope for the best. I don't think...
Takes a lot of times around here.
I don't think you can do much else. I think after what we saw yesterday, you have to get to the inside. The problem is it's twofold. One, you have to do it from the 7 hole, and 2, you'd like to think everybody's doing their job, and the other riders saw this, so now they're all going to be fighting for position on the inside, and from post 7, it's kind of hard to get over there, unless you take all the way back to last.
Fighting for position on the inside, because your horse is not going to have the lead,
no.
But
I
she's
can't
gonna have the
imagine he's
rail.
going to leave the rail, right.
No, he's got the rail, so he'll be on the rail for at least an extended portion of the race. Let me ask you a question, though, about Honey Pants. If you didn't pick him last time, her last time, would you pick her today?
Yeah, because I do think...
Because she didn't run well. Because she can't win. She's going to have trouble winning this race off of that effort. Now, maybe she gets a goal.
I don't see where you...
She went 23 and 3 the first quarter, Anthony.
Yeah, but she ran a decent enough figure, and I think... I understand she went wire to wire last time.
She
they
got
asked
an
her to do
unbelievable
something.
pace
She did.
advantage
There was
in
no
there.
pace. I understand that, but I don't know. She's gonna. I don't think. Well, David has her 7-2. I thought she'd be a little higher than that. I thought horses. See, I thought Wesley Ward's horse would be the clear-cut second choice here, the number 3. I don't care that she's a maiden.
Okay, she's got the rail, and no horse that draws the rail in turf races would I leave out and say they can't win. I don't like her. If the turf was fair, I'd book every cent bet on this horse. But on this course, she may be able to work out pretty much a clear rail trip and can win. You and I disagree. I don't like her first race. You do. I don't disagree about Illegal Smile. We'll take a look at. Now, I will say something else, though. Did Dirty Dangle show up yesterday at all?
No.
Well, that does matter a little to me, because I thought this race was better when I thought Dirty Dangle was live going into that race.
Yeah, but this horse...
That was an awful beat for me, by the way, with that Euro, who could have won the race if he didn't get left. Certainly could have been second. Probably would have won. This race was fine.
I thought this race was good. This horse ran okay. I thought this horse ran okay. I put my picks in before the bye. I probably would have went 1, 2, 3, 7. I didn't want to change them. You didn't change anything, so I didn't change anything. I probably would have went 1, 2, 3, 7. Seeing how the track was, I thought she ran just fine the other. I thought she ran just fine. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen Dirty Dangle show up a little bit yesterday.
If Chris DiCarlo doesn't go to the lead with Magic Soul, we'll take a look at his race. Well, she's faster than these horses early. I mean, she's quick. We'll look at her race at last time out. She's quick. Hard to judge her last field, so I don't really have. I mean, one of the horses finishing well out, ran very well going forward, but that horse did stretch out. I just want Chris to go to the lead with this horse. That's all. And I liked her last race. And by the way, I picked this horse before I know the track was playing this way.
Yeah, we haven't changed
anything. I made these picks a while ago.
Listen, Chris DiCarlo doesn't come in to rate horses. Chris
no,
is putting her on the lead.
Video games are saying to play at home. What is he? He thinks he's Craig Perrette?
Love Chris.
So
I've made so much money with that guy in my life.
Okay.
He's carried me for 25 years. That's
believe
a lot.
Me, if he carried you for 25 years, he's in traction.
That's why he's strong.
All right, we'll see what happens in the Stewart Manor, a race where the part of the condition is it has to be run on a gold rail. Race number 9, I don't have much to say about race number 9. We'll show Sharp Start's race, and let me say something. Sharp Start, she's actually better than she looks, and we show this race 2 back to Fleet Indian. She was wide against a gold rail that day. She actually ran tremendously. Now, she was 40-1 last time, so I don't really care that she didn't run well. I mean, she's just supposed to beat these horses.
Yep.
The one thing that worries me about her is she doesn't have much speed. And, what Trevor McCarthy has to do with her is get her out in the clear. Because I think if you're going to be closing, and she's a horse that can run, likes running outside of horses. If you're going to be closing, get yourself out of the kickback. But that's a concern.
I think it's more of a concern, the 2-turn races. I think that's why she's probably going to be a little bit better around the 1 turn. The win was around 1 turn.
But she doesn't have speed. That's what concerns me.
I understand that, but I think around the 1 turn, I don't think that's as big of an issue as it is around the 2 turns. Not because she doesn't have to lose her position.
We didn't run a 2-turn race yesterday, and horses weren't running through the kickback yesterday.
She's able to, in a 1-turn race, the only turn she has to worry about losing ground on, she only has to worry about 1 turn.
I don't care about losing ground.
You want to clear. In the 2-turn races, you want to try to save some ground going into the turns.
But that's true.
Yeah,
that's correct.
But
that's
she can just stay
kind
out
of
there
irrelevant
now.
to the conversation. The conversation is how confident are you taking a horse that might be odds on, who's going to be coming from well back in the pack. On this track at Aqueduct last year, for a lot of
hold on a second. Why do you think she's going to be that far back? How far back do you think? How fast do you think they're going to go in here?
Oh, I think if I had a chance, it's pretty quick. I think Blitzton Lady is pretty quick. I mean,
you think she's going to be more than 4 lengths off the lead?
Yes.
Oh no.
Okay, I disagree.
Was that a wheel lunch? How did we do yesterday?
I don't know. I don't even remember.
8 versus 1. 4th race, maybe. Bad that we're making lunch bets. We don't even remember what they are now.
Yeah, I have no.
It was a second. It was like my second choice, my third choice against your my third choice against your third choice. in a race we agreed on earlier.
No,
I'll have to look it up.
You're right. I don't remember at all. That's right.
I'll try. It was 8
Oh,
versus,
yeah.
I think it was 8 versus 1.
8 versus 1.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you the result if you put 500 on the table right now.
I don't know why my friend Steve hasn't texted me. He should remember. He's usually on it.
See, I don't think
Other
you-
horses in this race. We'll move on.
Okay.
Other horses in this race. Cheatham Hill. I thought Cheatham Hill actually ran very well last time out. Was on top of that pace. I'm going to use that horse. I could use Courageous Girl, who did not run great in there, but was also on the pace, and that fell apart. So I'm going to use those two horses a little bit as slight backups.
Okay.
Cheatham Hill's going to be a very big price. Thought she ran well last time.
Okay.
David liked this horse last time. It was a good pick by him. You know, in the last race, as we take a look at Robin Sparkles to start it out, I was going to pick against this horse.
But you can't now, right?
But how can I pick against a horse that's going to be in front and has the rail?
Nope.
I know there's some speed in this race, and we'll see what Brass Ring and Louis Cardenas does. Now, it's possible Louis Cardenas buries this horse. And Eric Cancel, who's riding Abuse of Power, we'll talk about eventually, he should just go to the rail and tuck behind the 1 and 2 and hope that they battle up front. But I just think she's fast, and Kendrick's supposed to just let her go.
It was weird. After watching the...
Brass Ring scratched. Oh, I just got the scratches. Oh, yeah. You know what? I'm going to give the scratch to people after we do this race.
Okay. Well, now, I mean, I kind of when I went over my notes before when I went over the card before we came on today, this race kind of figures to unfold like a harness race.
Oh, good news for you, by the way.
What's that?
You know what? Let's go over the scratches for people. Then we'll get back to this race, okay? The 6 scratched in the first. That's good news for you. So that's one less horse that had no chance that you liked. Race number 2, the 6 Big Red Girl is out, and the MTOs, the 14 on down.
So 13 draws in.
Anthony, the number 6 is scratched. I'll tell you all the scratches here.
All right, go ahead.
The 14 through 16 are out.
Go ahead.
You don't have to confuse it. Race number 4, excuse me, the MTO, the 5 is out. The 12 through 15 are out of race number 6. So the also eligibles and the 12, Tassie. And now the last race. Go all the way to the last race we're on now. Brass Ring is scratched. Madam McLean is scratched, who was my third. Oh, they've already moved the 8 into my. So Madam McLean is scratched. And the 11 and 12 are scratched. All right. So Robin Sparkles has a much easier time without Brass Ring in the race. And I don't think Pure Wow is fast enough to keep up with her.
Or Saratoga.
By the way, speaking of Pure Wow, who's cutting back in distance and has run well going longer, I'll show you a trainer stat for John Terranova, because I thought she might take a little bit of money in this race. He is just 2 for 22 going route to sprint on the turf with an 86-cent ROI. Look at how happy John is in that picture.
You know, trying to get a cold lineup number here. 1-3, like I'm at Yonkers on a Friday night, on a beautiful fall Friday night, even though it's Saturday. Robin Sparkles, Abuse of Power, just come on, full out of there.
Let's talk about fetching.
Okay. Touch too short for her, maybe? I mean, she ran well last time.
No, it's to touch the wrong course for her. It's tough for her to work out the right trip on this course. That's the problem for fetching. I don't really worry about her at 6 furlongs. She ran a super race at 5.5 at Saratoga. Well, I would say it's tough too short, considering how well she ran it at 5.5 at Saratoga. I just think this course is going to work against her.
Well, yes.
She's pretty good. I mean, I know this race fell apart, but let me ask you a question. We've got Abuse of Power second. Think Abuse of Power is a better horse than Cost Benefit?
No.
You know, that's the problem, right? That's the problem. Now, Fetching does seem to like to run second these days, but maybe she's running second. She's running against Lashara and Cost Benefit and Lead Guitar. I mean, look at her resume and think about who those horses are. I mean, to be honest with you, I think there's an argument that she is as good as anyone, save perhaps Robin Sparkles in here. I'm just afraid of what kind of trip she's going to get, but I could never leave her out.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's a good point. The cost basis point's a good point. Not cost basis.
Is that a great point or a good
cost
point?
benefit?
We haven't had any great points in the show.
No, this was not a great point. It's
No,
too
you're
early
right.
for great points.
Well, I hope she's.
That's a great point.
Now we'll look at Abuse of Power, and it's funny. The Abuse of Power shows up against the horse that beat her first time, and we'll show that race. But I actually wanted to show Abuse of Power's first race because the reality is, I'm not knocking Uplifted, but and Abuse of Power got a very good trip and ride in here. But man, she was green as grass. He wants to angle out. He didn't feel he could get the room. He went in. She wasn't happy. It's like she's sulking here almost, right? And then all of a sudden, she kind of thinks, oh. And now she figures it out at the 16th pole, and she probably should have won this race, and then she put it together last time. She could be okay, but
Yeah, when you
easy
ordinarily
race.
see those horses where the jock has to demonstratively kind of steer and hit, and they never run anywhere, and she got beat a half length. Yeah.
Good race.
She's the with Brass Ring in the race. She's a little more interesting, I think. Now you're going to leave Robin Sparkles.
She's going to be so hard to beat, especially in this
she's gonna be
racetrack.
tough now.
Listen, good for Bruce Brown. Nice to see him
nice
doing well
little
with this
filly.
horse.
Nice little filly.
Can we turn back the clock and claim this horse for 40,000? Go back in that time machine, claim her for 40.
Unbelievable, right?
She wins anyway. She wins today. She'll make almost 150,000. Anyhow, let's talk Breeders' Cup. I think we have a couple minutes here, right? We timed this pretty well. So we have.
We go to 30. We go to 30 MTP.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the Breeders' Cup Classic. Who do you like in there? Because you got to miss some. You got a little bit. You got to make up for picking Crazy Beautiful yesterday. Oh, that's right. Anthony likes Tacitus. I should have brought the Duns cap from Belmont for you.
I don't like
Tacitus.
5 horses in the race. I don't like the 3 Bob Baffert horses. I don't.
Okay, why don't you like Improbable?
I just think I think Improbable is the most dressed up horse, beating nothing in California, getting a brilliant setup in the Awesome again. Tom's Day Todd blows the break into Whitney. I want nothing to do. If Improbable wins today, I will be tearing everything up.
Forgetting about Tom's Day Todd blowing the break in the Whitney, you still don't think he ran well?
I thought he ran okay. I'm not a By My Standards fan, so no, I don't think he ran particularly well. Code of Honor is not what he once was. I mean,
Well, he ran a pretty big race in the Kelso.
yeah, going a mile.
So you must take complexity, too.
Going a mile. No, I don't like complexity.
You like
He ran a
complexity.
good race going a mile.
So Code of Honor was good when he ran complexity.
He ran a
but
good
not
race
good when
going
he
a
ran.
mile, Andy. He ran a good race going a mile. It's a different kettle of fish. I don't like Improbable. I think he's the most. I mean, could he have gotten a better setup last time?
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Is this because you think Bob Baffert's
No.
gotten caught with some positives?
No,
His horses aren't going to run?
absolutely
Is this
not. I don't like
this
him.
sounds like voodoo to me.
Do you really want maximum security? I mean,
I don't like maximum
Yeah,
security. I think
I don't
he's a bit
either.
of a. I think he's a bit of a phony. I don't trust him, and he only seems to win when everything goes his
I
own
think
way.
Authentic
So I don't
has
like
the best
him.
chance of the Baffert horses to win.
Okay,
And I don't think he has much of a chance.
I don't know what this Improbable opinion is. It doesn't make any sense
I
to
think
me.
he's dressed up.
Why?
I think he's had real easy races against bad fields. The only race
Let
where
me
he ask
you a
faced
question.
real horses,
This is a
stumbled out of the
very
gate.
entertaining Breeders' Cup Classic. Every horse, basically, that's supposed to be running is running. Having said that, I don't agree at all with the notion this is one of the best Breeders' Cup Classics of all time. I think this is a subpar Breeders' Cup Classic talent field compared to some of the past. But of the horses that have run, where were the horses on paper that are so much better than Improbable? You know who the favorite is, right? You know the favorite is based on doubles, right?
No.
Tom's Day Todd. Now,
Well, everybody in the world loves him. So
Why?
that doesn't really surprise me.
Why?
I don't know why. I think he can win, but the love for him. Listen, if Tiz the Law was drawn in post 7 as opposed to post 2,
what is wrong with post 2 for him?
I don't
Why?
love it. I don't love post 2.
Why?
I don't.
Why? Tell me why.
Because I don't think this horse is comfortable inside of horses. And
Who's going to be inside of horses?
well, is Manny going to leave? I mean, you got to leave for position. What
Well,
are you
he's
gonna
got
do?
speed, so he's naturally going to leave for position. What is he going to do? Take him back?
No, I don't think he's going to take him back. But do you think he's fast enough? I don't want him on the lead.
Anthony, the race starts top of the stretch. He can find any position he wants.
I guess.
You're acting like he's breaking out of the chute from the rail.
I still think with all of that speed outside of him, it's going to be tough for him to find a position.
I have no idea. Because on a sloppy track in his 3rd career start, he got himself in a little jackpot. Suddenly
Andy,
everybody thinks he can't run inside of horses.
No, because Barkley Tag made it.
Anthony, horses like to get outside stalking. That's what horses like to do. There's very few horses outside of street sets that are railroads.
How many jocks are under instruction to do it at the 7/8 spot?
What?
I mean,
I think this
in the
is
Holy
voodoo.
Bull, the instruction will get outside. Fountain Youth, the
Well,
instruction
of course
will
he
get
does.
outside.
He's the hunted. He doesn't want to get himself in trouble. At races, he's 3-5 to win. But he's not going to be sitting and hugging the rail with
I'm
him.
the horse's biggest fan. It bothers me a little bit.
His
I'm
biggest
not gonna
fan?
tell
He's
you
probably
that.
got bigger fans than you. Maybe not actual bigger
I'm
fans.
his biggest fan.
But okay, so who do you like?
He's the most likely. I picked the race 1, 2, 4, 7.
Who's the one?
I picked the horse at even money.
Who's the one?
Tacitus. Picked the horse at even money.
Anthony,
I'm gonna pick the horse at
he doesn't
20 to
have a
1.
single race that is within hailing distance of almost everybody in this field.
Listen, you said, and I'm not putting these
Well, you
words in
picked
your
him
mouth.
because you can't stop picking him. It's like a drug addiction.
No.
It is. And it's like a drug addiction.
I picked him because he's going to be 30 to 1.
He's not going to be 30 to
He's
1.
finally not going to have to be wide on a good rail like he was in the Belmont or against the track in the Jim Dandy.
Isn't
or
it
on
time
the
to
lead like
admit,
he was
Anthony,
last year.
that he never took a step forward? He never
hasn't.
took a
But he
step
also-
forward.
but
So
he
he's suddenly
also-
going to do it in the Breeders' Cup.
I don't, listen, in all likelihood, Tiz the Law is going to win this race. If
No,
Tiz the
he
Law's
isn't
gonna
in
get
all
out-
likelihood.
Yeah.
I picked him, and
That's
not in
your
all
opinion.
likelihood is going to win.
That's
I
your-
think he's one of the
my
horses to
opinion
beat.
is
In
if
all
he-
likelihood,
my
he's going to
opinion
win.
is, if he can get his trip, and I shouldn't even say get his trip, if he is not bothered by a trip in here, I think he'll gallop. I do.
If you think he's going to gallop,
I do.
why would you be concerned with a trip? So you think there's two things.
Because-
Black and white. No, let me tell you. On this side, he gets a good trip and he gallops. On this side, he doesn't get his absolute preferred trip and he can't win. I mean, that's quite a gap.
He's shown
If you think
already.
he's going to gallop, which he's not,
shown already.
which he's not, but if
But
you think
he
he's
has
going to
shown
gallop, you should
already-
never be worried about his trip.
He has shown already that under some adversity, he has not answered the bell yet.
One race in a sloppy track last year?
What about the Derby? I mean,
There's
he had dead aim on that horse.
No. That's not adversity. See, you and I look at racing completely differently. He was taken a bit out of his game because there was nobody to go with Authentic. So he had to go after Authentic, and he couldn't play Authentic game better than Authentic can play it. In this race with more pace, he can sit a little bit farther back and make his move in a more comfortable time.
Maybe you're right.
That's why I like him. But I think Improbable was way the horse to beat in this race. I saw this completely different than you, and I thought Tom Satok can win the race. But if he's the favorite, he's a horrendous bet.
What about Global Campaign? Can Global Campaign get the setup where he's outside the speed?
The problem is you're trying to make a horse that's too slow fast enough to win the race. You don't really look at speed figures. I do. He's just not fast enough to win. I actually do like Global Campaign as a horse. I think he's a nice horse. He hadn't rated successfully before, but I think Luis Saez is going with him. See, I think that you're...
It's Javier.
Oh, it's Javier. I think Javier has to go.
Do you really?
Yeah, I think he has to go.
Wow.
At least go for position.
You think he's fast enough?
He's pretty good. That horse? That was very fast. I don't know that he's going to be in front of those horses, but I'm saying he's going to go.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying he's as fast naturally as some of those horses, but he's pretty quick. But he can stalk. But I just wish he had a race that was faster.
I think he's going to get the trip. I wish Tiz the Law got.
See, I don't think at the end of the day beating Tacitus is really any kind of accomplishment. Who do you like in the distaff?
I'm using Dunbar Road. I'm
Anthony,
using Swiss
stop.
Skydiver. I don't like Monomoy Girl.
Neither do I.
I don't like Monomoy Girl.
I don't love her races.
Bill Mott's very excited to run Horologist.
I think Horologist is a player. I
Bill
think
Mott's
Ollie's
very
Candy's a player.
excited to run.
I'm using Swiss Skydiver, Horologist, and Ollie's Candy. That's what I'm using. Your loyalty to Dunbar Road is really touching. It is. I mean, I'm getting a little misty-eyed here, but it's.
From what I saw yesterday in the sprint races, I think Serengeti Empress is a pretty good lean. I don't like Gamine.
I like Serengeti Empress.
Yeah, she's gonna be asked to do something she's never done before today.
Is the world going to stop spinning on its axis though if Tom Amoss wins a Breeders' Cup race?
I'd like to see Tom win.
I'd like to see Tom win a 5-claimer.
Who else? Who else do we like today?
I don't know.
I like Alexandra and Leinster. I think Leinster makes the most sense, but Alexandra's going to be 3 times the price.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say about Leinster is I think he'll be overbet because he wins at Keeneland, and I don't really believe in that stuff. And the other thing is this is a much tougher field than being Extravagant Kid. But
I don't disagree with you, but
That's-
he's the kind of horse where his speed kind of naturally puts him into
I'm
the
only
race.
betting horses at prices in a Breeders'
Yeah,
Cup turf
I don't
sprint
blame
because
you.
I've never won it, and I figure once before I die I'll win the Breeders' Cup sprint, and I have to get at least $50 to get even.
California Flag and Bobby's Kitten. I made good bets on both of them.
Bobby's Kitten. That was
California Flag. I love California Flag.
I don't even remember him.
He was he won Joe Talamo wire to wire at one of the Santa Anita Breeders' Cups, 09 maybe. He just right to the top. Gonzo. Loved them. Paid $8.
I'd make fun of the Breeders' Cup turf sprint, but I don't want to make the Mig mad.
I like. I picked Rushing Fall on top, but I think Terabellum is going to run a big race.
I don't like Rushing Fall at all today, but I will say one thing with Rushing Fall. She's had a great career. I think her best chance is to go to the front in here, and I hope they don't rate her in there.
That's what I was telling a friend of mine that last night. I hope Javier just lets her roll from the rip.
But I don't like her today.
Forget about
I
me,
actually
man.
think if Chad Brown wins that race, he's going to win with Sister Charlie, believe it or not. I don't like her. I like the Europeans. I like Cayenne Pepper. Anyhow, we're out of time. Head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, play our races, your races, his races, her races, all the races.
Lots of races.
Breeders' Cup races. Use promo code CUP25. I'll give you a free $25 bet as well as a $200 sign-up bonus, NairaBets.com. As a member of Naira Bets, if you hit the late pick 4 at both Aqueduct and Keeneland today, and of course that culminates with the Classic, we will give you a $150 bonus. So you've got like $150 free to play because you know you're going to hit both of those, Anthony.
Yeah. We'll fight. We'll cough it up tomorrow.
Nashville's still 1-9. So my chances,
What do you want on him?
my chances of 4 to 5 are starting to dwindle. Anyhow,
Not embarrassing.
he's not up with a reprise of the scratch and changes.
First
The man,
time.
John Embriao,
First
is
time
up
starter.
with the actual scratch and changes. Well, for the first time for him. We kind of gave him out in the show. You know, I was doing it, and you bullied your way in. You did. You tried
You
to
were
bully.
giving him the wrong.
You tried to bully your way in. There's
You were
no
giving
right
him
or wrong. Hey, we're going to do this all over again tomorrow. Enjoy Breeders' Cup Day here at the Big A.
Good luck, everyone.
Hello, racing fans, and once again, welcome to Aqueduct. And it's a beautiful